Joining us now on the line, as she does every Monday at this time, or most Mondays anyway, is Ann Coulter, the best-selling author of many great New York Times nonfiction works. And she's got a new book out. I'll let her give you the title of it. Ann, what's the title of your new book?
It comes out tomorrow, and it's Resistance is Futile, How the Trump-Hating Left Lost Its Collective Mind.
Grace was asking me what the best way to pronounce that is. I said futile, but then she said you said futile. So which one should we go with?
Normally, I believe the American pronunciation is futile, and the British pronunciation is futile. But I think I'm tending toward the British pronunciation for this book because when you say it, it sounds like Feudal.
Yes, I agree. In this case, I like the British pronunciation better, as opposed to the British pronunciation of lieutenant, which I can't stand at all. You know, I'll go with
like
lieutenant.
Laboratory.
I'm a laboratory kind of guy myself. Anyway, Ann, I got to ask you something. Can you spell respect?
Yes, you're making a reference to Aretha Franklin's death. That was very sad.
Well, I'm making a reference. You haven't heard how Al Sharpton spelled? Listen.
Oh no, that's fantastic.
Listen.
RESPICT.
Or would you prefer the Barack Obama spelling? Hold on, it's going to take us a second to get the Barack Obama spelling. Here it comes. Okay, just a minute. It's coming right up. Donna Brazile pronounces it respect. I don't know how she spells it, but she's phonetically it would be RESPECK. Okay, here we go. Here's Barack Obama.
Aretha first told us what RSPECT meant to her.
Normally I am against catching people in misspeaking, and particularly when I'm about to launch myself on a book tour. You get tired, you misspeak. But the reason I support doing it is this is the sort of thing, I mean, particularly with Bush, and oh, good heavens, they can't even go down that road with I mean, they do it so much to Republicans and quite unfairly. Fine, let's be unfair to them, but I will say it is not unfair in the case of my pal Al Sharpton. I heard him this weekend having trouble with the name Kellyanne Conway. See if you can look that one up, Howie. I want it in your long list of names. Boy, he does not spend a lot of time preparing for his show.
No, I know. We were playing some of the old cuts from the Washington Free Beacon Greatest Hits compilation, and my favorite one was he called Manhunt a Manhood. A massive manhood is underway for the missing person. But I got to ask you about a couple of cases involving illegal aliens. Classic case. Have you been following the pregnant woman whose husband was stopped? This was in San Bernardino.
Oh yeah, it's stunning how the media neglected to report that her husband was arrested for murder.
Right.
Murder. And, oh, dear, she had to drive herself to the hospital. Incidentally, I was just looking that up on the New York Times, or I was looking at the New York Times, and they have, hopefully none of your listeners are familiar with the New York Times webpage, and you should not be. It's the failing New York Times. But anyway, along the right-hand side, they have a bunch of little blurbs of stories. So they have, the horrible, terrible story about ICE arresting an illegal alien as his illegal alien wife or consort was on the way to the hospital, allegedly, to give birth. I guess it was a C-section, so it wasn't like, oh, I'm in labor. It was a prearranged. So she had to drive herself. Right below that story was a happy story of, I forget who this woman is. She was like an editor of some magazine or something. The detail isn't important, but it's how she rode her bike to deliver her baby, and it put her in a great mood and raised her endorphins. And isn't that fantastic?
Well, the arrest of her husband on a not a murder charge, a homicide charge. Even that is a euphemism, right? Leaving a sobbing woman alone at the gas station. Oh, it sounds like
to have an anchor baby.
Right. Well, they already had 4 other anchor babies. These were 2 illegal aliens. This was their 5th anchor baby that they were having.
Didn't Trump Trump run on getting rid of anchor babies?
Yes.
All he has to do is say, you're not a citizen if you're born here, we're going to refuse to recognize this. No law has ever been passed giving the children born to illegal aliens citizenship. No court has ever so found. We just do it. So, okay, we elected Donald Trump, and he said this is ridiculous, we've got to get rid of it. It creates a magnet. All these people are done. I mean, Harry Reid, I'm sure you've played it on your program many times, but before the Democrats flipped out and decided they wanted to destroy America in order to punish Trump, they used to say how crazy this anchor baby policy is. Judge Richard Posner, liberal and most cited federal judge, it creates a magnet for these families to come, go when their girlfriends or wives are 8.5 months pregnant, to be dying in the desert, dying of thirst, being killed by coyotes. It's not humanitarian in the least, and it's not what we signed up for.
I know, exactly. Well, my congressman, Representative Joe Kennedy III, retweeted this story, and there's heartless, and then there's whatever the hell this is. Thank you, Joe. Thanks for sharing that with us. Hey, one of my listeners.
That's true that we are letting murderers into our country. They're not sending their best.
Yeah, as someone once said, hey, one of the listeners, one of the texters wants to know, are you satisfied with this New Mexico coverage? I mean, talk about burying the lead. They refuse to say that these people are Muslim terrorists. This is the people who are training these little kids to be suicide bombers. One of the little kids was apparently murdered, and it's just a bunch of Muslim terrorists. One of them is the son, I think, of one of the original World Trade Center bombers. Another one, the wife is an illegal alien from Haiti. She's got about 6 kids at the age of 30. And they just most of the media is refusing to cover the story at all, and they're refusing to mention any kind of Muslim terror ties.
Yes, and also that they were planning on staging mass school shootings, which I believe the media has taken some interest in. Imagine if they could find any connection to David Duke, Gavin McGinnis, Richard Spencer, you or me, or really any white man. I think we'd be hearing quite a bit about this story. I mean, it's very strange how we're living. It is George Orwell's 1984, where we have the 2 minutes hate against a fictional character broadcast up on a huge screen, Emmanuel Goldstein, and everyone yells at this fictional character, Emmanuel Goldstein, while not noticing all the enemies around them. We're in the middle of really pretty regular fascistic physical attacks on any Trump supporters, and all the media wants to talk about is, can we get Donald Trump to disavow David Duke for the 1 millionth time?
Right.
Half the people attending the 20-person Klan rallies are submitting federal expense reports for it because they're working for the FBI. These irrelevant losers who've never, not in 50 years, caused any violence anyplace. Meanwhile, did you see that? One of the most shocking, sickening things, I tweeted it out, was that the Trump supporter at the Social Distortion concert, the punk rock band, and the lead singer starts, you have to see the video, it's sick, it's really sick. The lead singer apparently had spent some time denouncing Trump and denouncing America, so a bunch of Trump supporters walk out. This one guy yells out, "I came for your music, not for your politics," and to protest, he just silently holds the middle finger up through 3 songs. Lead singer motions to him to come to the front of the stage. He thinks he's going to argue with the guy. He goes to the front of the stage. The crowd holds it. The lead singer jumps down into the crowd, starts beating up the Trump supporter as the crowd holds him, and 200 people are cheering this.
How about Alcee Hastings? And you know who Alcee Hastings is from, living part-time in Florida. He's
one of the impeached judges.
Exactly. Listen, did you hear what he said yesterday? He was at a rally. Cut 17.
He says a crisis is if Donald Trump falls into the Potomac River and can't swim. And he says, and a catastrophe is anybody saves his ass.
I didn't catch the end of that. And
a catastrophe is anyone who saves his ass.
Well, Well, I wouldn't say it's the best formulated joke, but I will at least say yes, there would be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
But he's the guy. But Ann, this is a guy.
Hillary. But those are at least just words. I'm talking about the constant, actual physical attacks on conservatives. There is no other side to that. There are no liberals just being randomly attacked. There are conservatives defending themselves.
Yeah. My point, though, is this is a guy, when he was a federal judge in Florida, he had a bag man who was soliciting bribes in return for lenient sentences. The bag man actually solicited a bribe from an undercover FBI agent from Boston, who later died in prison for taking part in an organized crime hit. But that's another story. And the bag man went to prison, testified against Alcee Hastings. Alcee Hastings was acquitted by one of these OJ-type juries, but he was then impeached by the U.S. House of Representatives and convicted in a trial by the Senate as being corrupt and taking payoffs. And now he's been in Congress ever since, and he's joking about the President of the United States drowning, just like Steve Cohen, the congressman from Tennessee.
He's probably in line to have a committee chairmanship. That's an interesting thing now. All of the who will be the committee chairman if Democrats win a majority by even one vote. The only one I've looked up so far is Maxine Waters, who will be the chairman of the Financial Services Committee, not an insignificant committee.
Yeah,
and I bet you Alcee Hastings has been around for a long time. He was appointed to the court by Carter, and then impeached, and then runs for Congress. So he's been around a long time. He is surely going to be. And what's Nancy Pelosi going to say? No.
Well, he was in when they took over the House in 2007 again. He was in line to be the head of, I believe, the House Intelligence Committee. And at that point, they just said, "Hey, Alcee, you got a kind of a checkered past, to put it mildly." And they told him to step aside. But I mean, again, that was a long time ago in terms of social justice warriors. I mean, you're right. I don't think they could keep him out of an important chairmanship if the Democrats reclaim the House.
Right.
I wonder if he'll get his. I wonder if he'll hire. I wonder if he'll hire a new bag man. Ann. All right, Ann. What's the title of your book again, if people want to order it?
Resistance is Futile.
Resistance is Futile. And Ann, we'll be with you in Concord next month in Concord, New Hampshire. If you want more details, go to HowieCarrShow.com, HowieCarrShow.com. And Corey Lewandowski and I will all be in Concord, New Hampshire, doing our Deplorable show on September 16th. That's a Sunday afternoon at 1 o'clock. And looking forward to seeing you then, if not sooner. Thank you, Ann.
Yes, great. Thanks, Howie.
Bye-bye.